You're interested in automating support and resistance. You're done with drawing everything out manually, or you'd like to reduce that to the minimum possible. I've got two ways for you to do that today. The first one I'll show you is whole and half numbers being plotted directly onto the chart. I'm sure you've all seen this, but to think of it in terms of support and resistance puts a new light on it. There are entire trading strategies developed around whole and half numbers, but if I just switch off the quarter numbers. So the first on this chart that were hit were 114, and then again price slows into 113, and every time it hits a whole number, in general, you'll have a reaction. Could it be a reversal or a breakthrough? Depends on what's happened prior to it. But in any case, it's a good line in the sand and just good to be aware of. I see so many people plot price action and various other sort of confluential methods of entering a trade without taking this into account. And I just think the way volume profile plots on top of whole numbers and the way that orders sit in various other tools in the futures markets on or around these numbers gives an indication that they are worth considering, at least for support and resistance automation. You get the halves as well on this indicator that I've modified. It only calculates once every bar. You get a lot of indicators that will do every tick, which is a nightmare for your system. It ties up resources and is completely unnecessary. So that's method one. Method two is volume profile used as a range. A little bit different to what you're perhaps used to seeing, with volume profile typically being used on a day-to-day histogram, and you'd look at the previous sort of volume point of control day-to-day. But if you actually spread that range out to 10 days, you can set the resolution as well. This is a bit higher because I'm normally operating a bit lower down the charts, such as this. And these are plotting all the points where price has halted and traded the most. The wider the histogram, the more it's traded there. Typically in a range, you'll see the average price of that range. And it gives you targets from previous days, if price has been above or below where you are now. It also gives you points to consider as price moves through those points. And because it's rolling over 10 days, it has time to build up. So if you're in a range, it's really useful information. If it's going into new territory, say it carried on dropping below where it is now, or where it was, into an area where it hasn't been in months or years, then you're actually better off using the whole numbers as a sort of a guesstimation of where price may next react. But when you're in more stable times, these are a great way to approximate, as I say, where price might react, be that a breakout or a reversal. To determine breakouts or reversals, I use the strength differential indicator that I have produced. I use it normally on the M3 or M5 at the moment. I'm working on a breakout strategy. So here I've got the Asia session marked out. And if it breaks in London above that, with confirmation from down here, this is the dollar dropping off sharply against its MA and the euro picking up sharply, then I would enter and use various criteria to exit, be it whole numbers, half numbers, volume profile nodes, or even just good old MA breaks to the opposite direction. I also plot on this indicator long and short bias. It's sometimes smoother and easier to see on the higher time frames, so it's been long bias since down here when zoomed out. This is based on the movements of the individual currency pairs over a basket, each of their own linked pairs. So all the euro pairs, all the dollar pairs, and then plot them on a normalized graph. What you then start to see is reversal points emerge as, say, the dollar gains strength against the euro and the euro drops. It will start to show as a sort of a bias line on here. Just things to consider as you monitor and analyze the price manually, but all this automation just gives you an extra view on top of that. So yeah, that's automation of support and resistance in two different ways. There is a blog post that explains in much more detail. I'll link to that below. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching.